Greetings, welcome. This video is to show you how to set up Wireguard on AWS EC2 as of 2026. First, we need to set up the AWS environment by logging into AWS. I already did that, AWS console. Next, we're going to create a Lauch Instance, EC2, Lauch Instance. What would name it? That would be Wireguard VPN. Keep it, contained within the same project. We're gonna use Ubuntu free tier. It is eligible right here. Next, we're gonna set up a key pair for SSH access. I have one already set up, but if you want to see how to create one, you create a key pair, keep it RSA, that PEM file, create key pair, and then it will give you a download to use to remotely SSH into the virtual machine. Alright, so I already have one. I'm going to use the one I already have. Network settings. You want to set up a security group. Either create a new one or select an existing one. Either way, you have to fix or create inbound rules so you can have a VPN server port open and the browser UI also open. So I'm gonna just not gonna go to create one, but I'm gonna select one, but I will show you how to open those ports. By selecting the one I already have created, I will use Wireguard VPN. Again, keep it with the same name to keep it contained. Storage, keep it as is, and no elastic file system. You will launch instance. Since to save time, I already have the instance launched, so I'm going to go back to instances. Select the one I'm using, Wireguard VPN. It gives me a public IP address right here. So to show you how to open up those ports for VPN access, right? I already have them set up. SSH comes default to SSH into the machine. Then you have the 51820 for VPN access via UDP, and then port 5000 for TCP for user interface via the browser. All right, so you want to click to create them, to open them up. You want to start by selecting Wireguard VPN or the name of the security group you created in the beginning of the instance. Now, so here, inbound rules, you can edit on the right here. You want to add more, take some SSH, port 22. And you want to make sure it's accessible from anywhere or from your own one IP or however many IPs you want to create specifically, so that way you can just only you have access. UDP, that's VPN access. You want to have access from anywhere, so when you're moving around, your IP address changes or whatnot, you'll be still able to use this VPN. And then last, the custom VPN port 5000 on TCP, from anywhere as well, or the IP address that you want to access from. Save it. In my case, I would just cancel since I already had it saved. So going back to your instances, click on it. You want to connect to it and proceed by, there's 4 ways of doing it. We're going to use SSH client. An example is SSH-I. I have a Windows terminal, so we're going to take the quotations marks away and access it that way. So we're going to SSH-I. I'm already on the downloads folder, which I already downloaded the key, that PAM key for access to SSH. I would use the Ubuntu at EC2 server name, DNS name, and -pv to see what happens when I'm trying to connect. Very verbose, which explains and it shows you what is going on in the background. Connect. All right, I'm in. So from here, we're going to update. Yes to anything to be updated. that's done, we're gonna run sudo apt install docker.io. That is to create an environment to deploy docker compose later, the binary file. Do that, make sure it clears. All right, so now next we're gonna use the GitHub latest docker-compose Linux server by curling the GitHub compose releases latest download docker compose Linux server. So I'm gonna go with that. Good to go. All right, so sometimes I will give an error, so just make sure you get it from the right place. If you go to GitHub, you'll be able to go to GitHub Docker and go from there. All right, so now make sure that the docker-compose binary is executable by typing this command chmod +x and the location of the docker-compose binary. Done. So, all right, let's check the version of this binary. 5.3.1, good to go. So now we're gonna create an environment to deploy this project for. So we're gonna make a directory called Wireguard, or you can call it VPN or whatever you like to call it. CD into it. Now that we're into it, we want to create docker-compose.yaml file to give instructions to Docker to what to do to deploy Wireguard properly. So we're gonna go sudo vim docker-compose.yaml. All this is gonna give Docker instructions of what to do. Go with that. So to get the information to the proper, file, you can go to docs.textdocs.nz/Wireguard. It will be on the description below, but that is the name of the location site. So here, okay, I pasted it. We have services, Wireguard, with the image of Linux server, not the latest, but the latest that is less buggy per se. Ports 5000 for browser UI and 51820 for VPN access. Also the image for the latest image for Wireguard UI to use in the browser. Here we want to pretty much change username and password, whatever you want. So I will use ABC CBCPA1 just for just for training. If in your case you would just use something more complicated, more hard to guess. Escape, colon, write and quit. All right, we have our YAML file. So from here we're going to move on to make the Docker environment binary, deploy the Docker binary with the command docker-compose up-d. Okay, sorry. Sudo, okay, that will make it work. So it created the Wireguard UI and the Wireguard Linux server. Now, to see what Docker has processing right now, we want to use Docker PS. Sudo docker ps. All right, so Linux server and 2 ports on 5000 TCP for browser and 51820 for the actual VPN UI and the server. 2 different containers running at the time. Next, we're gonna use our browser and access the instance. What's the IP address again? Okay, here we go. 118.1.18. Okay, go up. Port 5000 with a colon 5000 to access IP address and port number. But ABC CPA1. No, thank you. Close this. All right, so here now we're in WireGuard. We're gonna set up global settings by adding another DNS server. 8.8.8.8 is a common, very popular Google DNS. Then we're gonna go on, make sure you're safe at any step of the way. WireGuard server. Here we are going to copy and post up script and post down script from, again, docs text.nz. I will post it in the description below. This is to configure IP tables and routing protocols. So up script and post down script. Make sure this is saved. All right, success. So next we're gonna set up a client. Setting up a client, we're gonna new client, create new client, name, VPN, email if you want to. I'm gonna leave it blank. You don't need to do anything else but give it a name. Is to be able to download the file to use on the WireGuard application. All right, so now very important, you want to apply all the configuration you have done before you download, before you hit the QR code, so the app can work. So apply changes, apply, and now you're good to download. Download, this is called VPN, save, keep, done. All right. So now after that, we're gonna install WireGuard user interface on wireguard.com/install. Already got it downloaded, so we're gonna open it up on your PC. We're gonna add the tunnel, and this you want to add the configuration that you just created. Boom. Now before I go along, keep going with this, I have I'll use NordVPN, so it gives me, this IP address. The next, I'm gonna disconnect from it. Good, 15 minutes. And now I want to activate this VPN through WireGuard. All right, it's activated. So here you wanna just make sure that it's active and that it's transferring, receiving, and sending, throughput. All right, here we want to check our IP address again. Refresh. Boom. It gives me 18.218.68.99, which is the same IP address that I have here on the virtual machine. So nice, quick and easy. Have your own VPN. That way, in case you want to backup or you expire on your Nord or whatever you have, you can use this as an example. Thank you for watching and have a great one.